I don't really have anything new.
Listen,
Oh.
you came on very strong last week that you were the
Hey,
boss and you were
do we
taking
ever
over.
ask you to carry an entire episode on your own? But you know what?
No, but
I'll
I
do
never.
it if I have to do it.
Well, I never threw down the gauntlet that I'm gonna take over this bitch and run the world. So I don't see
Well, I
how that's
think we should all get a chance.
okay. All right. Well, I've got something. So whenever you're ready.
Okay. Are you recording?
Yep, we are recording.
Okay. All right. Hello and welcome to the podcast. I forgot to say the name of the podcast though.
We're off to a great start.
And there's a motorcycle in the background too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's hang
You
on.
heard
Wait,
that.
everybody, just wait. Okay, take two.
Okay. Hello and welcome to the Unstoppable Pigeon podcast. This is Emily.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Russell.
So I know you're probably confused because you're hearing the voice of the token female first, but everything is all right in the world.
Are they also confused because you didn't do the tagline that we established for our podcast?
Oh, okay. I'll do it now.
All right,
Should
wait.
I start over?
Wait,
Should I go for take three?
Yeah, hang on. Okay, take three. Go ahead.
Hello and welcome to the Unstoppable Pigeon podcast, where it is both stoppable and we will not talk about pigeons. I'm Emily.
I'm Matt, and that was close enough, I guess.
And I'm Russell.
Sorry, I did not have a script written down for myself.
To be fair, I don't really know what it is either.
This is my take on it. And as we all know, we can't all be perfect like Matthew, so I'll do the best I can. So something I wanted to discuss with you guys is that my father posed a problem to me that I've never had to think about before.
Okay.
When I visited him a couple weekends ago for Father's Day, he's having trouble because he's trying to throw away a garbage can, and he can't seem to do it.
How do you throw away a garbage can? Is the question here?
Yeah, that's exactly what he said to me.
I have the easy solution.
Okay.
I have the easy solution. You put a note on the garbage can that says, "Please take can is trash."
That's what I said too. I guess.
Or you really smash the hell out of it so that it's clearly broken.
That was my second choice. So they apparently they have this old trash can, which I think was with the house when they moved in, back in 2008. Oh no, 2004. And it's this brown ugly garbage can, because garbage cans don't have to look anything but ugly. But the bottom of it has this massive hole in it. So he put it on its side and they didn't take it. He put it way off to the side for some reason. I don't know why that was a logical option, but he said he put it further away from the trash so they would think it was something separate. He put it upside down so that they could see the hole in the bottom of it. So I told him
none of that would make a garbage man think.
Right.
I like that his solutions thus far was just to just pose it in different positions.
Yeah. They probably just think what is wrong with this man that he won't take this empty trash can away from his curb for 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
So I told him he needs to write a note on it. And so that's what he ended up doing, is he wrote a note on it that said please take, this is trash. Thank you.
Yeah,
I told him to write the thank you.
It is good that they that he was specific, because had he just taped a piece of paper that said trash onto it, I feel they still would have been what does he think? Is he insulting our intelligence now? He thinks he's got to label his trash so that we know what to do. I was going to suggest a Russian nesting doll type of situation where he just would get progressively larger trash cans and keep putting trash cans,
a trash can in a trash can
inside each other until they either took the whole thing or he reached critical mass. And it did implode on itself, thus solving the problem once and for all anyway.
I'd like to hear the story from the garbage men's point of view, because I feel for 3 weeks there was just what is this guy doing?
Right.
He's just Jenga-ing his garbage can around, and then on week 4 they're oh, You wanted us to take the can.
If
Well, why
only
did
he
you
had
put a
labeled
note
it
on
as
it?
trash.
He could have. What I would have done, because even writing a note and having to like have the confrontation with the garbage men of having to instruct them like, hey, do my bidding and take this away. Even that is making me like anxious. So that would even have been too much for me. I think the way that I would have approached this is I would have gotten like a big pair of garden shears or like a chainsaw, and I would have cut the garbage can up into smaller, more manageable pieces, and then put them into my regular garbage can, thus eliminating the need for any sort of interaction, whether it be via passive aggressive notes or otherwise, with my sanitation professionals in my township.
Well, that's why I told him to write "thank you" at the bottom of the note, because I didn't want it to come off as passive aggressive.
Or what we could have done, if it was up to Matt and I, we could have, in true heritage fashion of our family, at one point coming from New York Italians, we could have taken the trash can, filled it with cement blocks, and dumped it in the East River.
That's not where I thought you were going with that. When you said in like true heritage of our family's tradition, I thought you were gonna say we could have just put it in the back of like the truck and driven it directly to the dump, and then had our semi-regular Sunday morning meeting with the lady with like 4 teeth that worked at the dump near our house when we grew up, where we would just... Is that like, that's weird, right? It's not something I ever thought about before, but like
a dump. No, having a dump is not that weird.
No,
it's more for
not having a dump. The frequency with which we like it was like a family activity that we like put stuff in the pickup truck and like we're taking a trip down to the dump to like visit Terry or whatever her name was. And
yeah, but we're not necessarily normal. It was, we had just like a bunch of stuff that needed to be dumped. It wasn't like normal household stuff. It was mostly like crap Dad bought from some going out of business place.
Cartons of books and things.
Yeah, I
did like, and I think this was his like, because it was fun to like throw it into the big thing that they would like then use the big the compactor crusher to like smash stuff. And I feel like looking back on it, that was just like the opportunity to get to see the big smasher in action was how Dad conned us into like doing manual labor for him and like putting all the like his hoarder garbage into his vehicle to bring it to the dump for him on a weekend.
That was when he was like tactful about asking you to do things for him.
Yeah, in his as he has advanced in age, he's gotten less subtle. To now, when we come over for like family dinners and stuff, he just starts listing the chores that I need to do around his house.
Yeah, well, at least you get to leave and go to your own home.
Yeah, because we have our own house that has its own chores to take care of.
Yeah, I don't do the chores at my own house. I don't know why he thinks I'm going to do the chores at his.
He'll also pick like the least important thing to be done, like something like, I don't know, like the gutters will be falling off the house, and he'll be like, we need to get plants and plant them in this garden thing here.
And then you get him plants, and they die in their pots.
They die. To be fair, the last ones you got them did get put in the ground. I put them in the ground. So again, for Father's Day or his birthday, since they're so close together, when he asked for more plants for his birthday, I said, great, your birthday present from Matt is me having to do manual labor.
I like whenever he asks for plants and I like bring him stuff, and then inevitably he kills them, and then like I come around and then he goes, so what do you think went wrong here? And I'm like, I don't know, probably because you let them sit in the pots for 5 months, and then when you did put them on the ground, like he's brought me over to dead plants in his yard before that are like, the plant is ostensibly somewhere under the tangle of like weeds and overgrowth that have like grown up around it and was not tended, and he's like, oh, what do you think happened with this plant here? And it's like, well, probably you didn't take care of it, and generally you have to not let it get entirely encircled by like creeper vines or freshly painted plants don't do well.
Speaking of plants, we've been having a new plant related problem.
Oh. So
he got just like flowers from Home Depot or whatever to put in the pots outside of the shop. And they're like, I don't know what kind of flowers they are, but they were just individual things like one flower to each little tray, and then he planted them all in the potter. The local people of the town have just been stealing them, just like pulling them out like dirt and all, and stealing individual flowers. So his suggestion today when we were in there was that he was just like, yeah, I'm gonna start putting broken glass in here, and I'm like, great.
Well, that's so
when some child cuts their hand off,
that's probably a felony.
Like, yeah, people have just been walking around pulling out
poison ivy, like
just yanking out whole flowers.
That's really funny.
Not like picking the flowers, pulling them out of dirt and all to go, I guess, plant them in their own
like garden or house.
Yeah.
But the pots have been left alone?
Yeah, the pots are fine, but like there's been slowly less and less flowers. Today, like you can actually see the whole chunk.
Hang on, let me visualize this properly. He's taking individually potted pots of plants and not depotting them and just putting them in a planter.
No. It was like a flat that had multiple flowers where each little slot was like the flower in the clump of dirt.
Yeah.
He took those out and
into a decorative pot
and put them in the larger pot.
So like
Oh, okay. So they're all out of their pot, but like they're still like, because they were just freshly done, they're still like got the hunk of dirt they were really attached to it in the flat. So like people have just been yoinking them. Dirt, not like there was even today. There was just like half a clump of dirt on the stairs from where somebody took it.
Pretty funny.
And
what time of day do you think this is happening?
I don't know. I mean, it's not like the shop is really open.
He should pick like an extremely invasive plant species and put that in there so that when people steal them and put them in their yards, it like ruins their yard within a couple of years.
I think you should put like a tiny spy cam on one of them.
Yeah.
Or
get like those carnivorous plants. Get those carnivorous plants that smell like rotten meat.
Yeah,
no one's gonna want those.
But then you got rotten meat smelling plants outside.
Yeah, seems like.
But the shop's not even open.
Yeah, but like the point of the flowers was to be nice.
It does seem like a weird business decision to put rotten meat flowers outside your shop.
I wonder who's taking them.
Because at first. The first day after he planted them, like somebody had clearly like picked a few of them, and I was like, that was probably some kid. But yeah, today somebody straight up like yoinked a whole flower.
I don't think it's like animals, right?
I was gonna say, I was like, what if we find out it's like squirrels this whole time that are just like coming in?
I don't know. There's not really a lot of wildlife in that area.
I mean, there's squirrels.
No, it's definitely the people.
That's so funny.
I think he should at least put up like a little like cam on the door.
Yeah, I'm surprised there isn't one like on the block somewhere that maybe they could like catch them. Like, do one of the other businesses nearby have a camera?
I don't think the city cares that much about plant theft.
It would just be interesting. I want to know like what's the demographic of potted plant stealers.
I guess plant theft is better than like they haven't really had any cases of like people stealing packages.
I can 100% guarantee you that the demographic of people stealing potted plant flowers is like
that's 50, what I was thinking,
55 plus white ladies with like Karen haircuts and with or without a small dog accompanying them.
Can I just say I feel really bad for women named Karen in today's day and age if they're actually really decent people.
I haven't met a Karen who wasn't terrible, so
One of my friends' moms is a Karen, and she's lovely.
Well, I haven't met her. How often do you see her friend's mom? Have you been to a restaurant with this friend's mom?
Yeah, I mean, I've like slept over at this friend's house.
But have you been to a restaurant or retail with this friend's mom? That's when the real Karen comes out.
Oh, I've definitely been. Yes, I've been to both with this Karen.
Okay. So you found the one exception, Karen.
Not all Karens are Karens, but all Karens are Karens. Does that make sense? I can't tell if that makes sense or not.
Who decided Karens are Karens? Like who claimed Karens as Karens?
I don't know.
The internet.
The internet.
Like why not a different name?
Would you like to propose a new moniker for Karens? We can make the case for like Debbie's.
Sharon's.
Or Sharon's. I think I don't know. I mean, I think like maybe it's because it's so ingrained in my head now. But I like when I try to think of another like, okay, what's an alternate name for a Karen that embodies?
I'm always going to come to
Karenness. Like it's just Karen for me.
Well, I think someone's always going to come to mind by whatever name we choose that doesn't fit, the definition.
So we've solved nothing.
No. I guess I should just be happy that it's not Emily.
Yeah.
Chosen.
Yeah, this is good. That's true.
All right. Well, do you guys want to move into our first little bit here?
Sure.
Okay. Well, the one I was going to talk about, I was looking to the internet for internet advice to figure out if my husband's actually into me. So I found a Cosmo article that's titled 16 Signs a Guy is Into You.
Jesus, we got to come up with 16 of these?
I'm not going to make... Well, first I want you to guess what is our...
I need a pen and paper. And...
Matthew, did we pass or fail?
Did we pass or fail?
Yeah.
Based on Cosmo's advice?
Yes.
Well, based on the only thing I know about Cosmo's advice thus far, which is their 5 steps to taking a perfect butt selfie.
Belfie.
They are
nonsense.
Inane nonsense.
About that.
I do also know that
accredited authors.
Accredited by who?
By Cosmo.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'll have you know, sir, I am an accredited Cosmo author. How dare you?
That would be like if I mailed in enough box tops to Captain Crunch and like got a certificate in the mail that said I was like a rear admiral in like the Crunch Navy. It means nothing.
All right, well, I'm just curious to see, do you guys think that if these 16 signs, do you think that these 16 signs are truly an indicator that a guy is into a girl?
Before we get into that, quick trivia. I know Matt knows the answer, so he's excluded. What's Captain Crunch's first name? He has one.
Can I think about it? Is it like creative?
Let's come back to that at the end of the episode. We'll get Emily's.
He has a name. It is an official name.
Okay.
He does. So we'll leave that. We'll come back to that at the end of the episode. What you think Captain Crunch's first name is?
Okay.
If he says Steve, I swear to God.
It's probably something like John, like something standard.
Only time will tell. Okay. To the Cosmo article.
Okay, so Matt, what do you think our rate is? Like out of the 16.
How many did we get out of 16? Well, I don't know. Most of our relationship is like being mean to each other and like
starting podcasts out of spite.
Starting podcasts and like actively trying to aggravate each other.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Which I feel like is not going to rate well with Cosmo's.
It didn't even make the list. That was probably 17.
But
that would be an odd number.
I'm going to say 8.
I think we got. How many is there? 16. I think we got 12 out of 16.
You are exactly right.
Me? I am?
Yeah.
Yes!
Pigeon point.
Pigeon point.
Pigeon point.
Does he get 1 pigeon point or does he get 12?
Do I get 12 pigeon points?
Oh, that's true. I guess I'll give you 12. I'm feeling generous.
Hell yeah.
Wow, that is an astounding lead in the pigeon point.
I'm a generous host.
I don't think I have. No, I have 1/3 of a point from one time. I think that's about it.
Well, Russell, you don't get any because if we had gotten 8 right, that wouldn't even be passing.
I didn't. I would just answer what my heart tells me.
If you had given me a number that would give a passing grade, I would have considered giving you some points.
It does seem like it was only like for the right answer. He just went with 50%.
Yeah. Okay.
Which I can respect the game on that one because it's like you have to assume that at least 50% of the possible answers on this Cosmo quiz are stupid garbage. So like it's not a terrible way to have gone about it.
Yeah, one of them is one of them could be like, does your husband's aura flow with your aura?
No, I think that this is probably pertaining to like new relationships.
I see.
So like one of them is he's okay leaving a toothbrush at your place, but like I would hope you have a toothbrush at my place because it's also your place.
So is this
you get
this
like
article as if your husband is into you? but it's not the case.
Well, okay, so I was trying to think back also, like when we were dating, and I think you had a toothbrush in my dorm room.
Wait a minute, no, that's not the question that I asked. What is the title of this 16 points?
Whatever. If your man is into
16
you.
signs a guy is into you.
A guy, okay. Because you said husband the first time, and I was like, "What? That's a weird."
See, they don't.
Well, because I have a husband.
They probably don't target Cosmo articles to married women because they, in the eyes of Cosmo, they've already won. They've won. They've leveled out of Cosmo.
Interesting theory. Yeah, maybe.
Achievement unlocked. Don't have to read Cosmo anymore.
So what are we trying to do
when I was
here?
reading this, I was trying to think back to like our dating days.
Sure.
So,
1842.
What? Yeah. What are we trying to do here? Are we trying to name the 16 steps, or what? Like, what do you want us to do?
I'll read them off to you, and you tell me. Do you think this is actually a good indicator if a guy's into a girl?
All right, I'm into it.
Okay, so number 1, plans vacations with you.
Plans vacations with you. Is that a sign that they are into you?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would hope so.
Yeah. Because it's like future planning.
Yeah. Also, yeah, I could see the argument for like girlfriends who want their significant others to like surprise them with a trip, but I guess that doesn't count. I guess that's more like where do you want to go for vacation, and not just like, yo, we're going to Philly.
Right. That doesn't count. Number 2, he'll happily watch The Bachelor with you. This was one of our failing points.
Okay.
No man happily watches The Bachelor with anybody.
I have heard of significant others watching The Bachelor with their female partners.
Yeah, I don't think there is
inherently those men are weak.
No, inherently there is nothing wrong with watching The Bachelor on a scale of like masculinity. I also don't think it has any bearing on whether this person is into you or not. The only thing that is an indicator is whether or not your significant other has taste in television.
Yeah, see, here's the thing.
So,
I don't think
anybody
should. Yeah.
If he watches The Bachelor, he just doesn't have taste in television if he watches The Bachelor. Yeah. And like he should be disrespected for that.
He is happy to share in the things that make you happy. Yes. Is how I look at it.
But I also think it's too specific.
Except
to be
if that was what the question was, that's what they would have written.
Yeah.
Not he will watch The Bachelor with you.
Yeah.
Well, you don't watch The Bachelor with me, and it makes me feel like you don't care about the things that make me happy.
I care about the things that make you happy. I don't care about garbage, trash television.
Garbage? Did you just say
garbage?
Yeah.
It's like, so garbage that it doesn't.
That's the Russian neighbor of garbage. Garbage.
Your television programming choices are garbage. And I am disgusted by them. No, that's preposterous.
What is that? A man would happily watch The Bachelor with his significant other?
No, it's preposterous that anybody would happily watch The Bachelor, but it is preposterous to think that like whether or not someone wants to watch The Bachelor is an indication of like whether or not they are into you. A better question, and one in an area in which I would succeed, would be: will they tolerate you watching The Bachelor?
Yeah.
Around them, which I let you watch episodes of Love Island.
You?
Yeah, like
around.
Like,
yeah, I do.
I'll be like, yeah, sure. I'll find something else to do that isn't soul crushing, and you can watch Love Island because it makes you happy, and I love you very much, and I want you to do the things that you want to do because I know that you like watching Love Island, even though it is a soulless vacuum for intellect and taste in
it's so good
entertainment media.
It's so good.
The question as phrased by Cosmo, I think, is invalid. Okay. I do not think is an accurate representation.
If it was, we'll watch what you want to watch, and not specifically The Bachelor.
Sure. Maybe.
I guess if you're reading Cosmo, you're watching The Bachelor.
The Bachelor's too specific.
Yeah,
they do they do somehow they get the metadata from your from your Hulu account, or if you have watched The Bachelor, they automatically send a Cosmo subscription to your house.
Also, I imagine most of these questions are going to be two-way streets, where it's like, because the question's like, will he watch The Bachelor with you? But then it's also like, will you watch his stupid guy bullshit? If he wants to put the game on or something else, whatever. Yeah. It's like, well, he doesn't watch The Bachelor with me, but I don't watch sports with him, but he should watch The Bachelor with me. And it's like,
true.
Well,
all right, we gotta hustle down this list, or we're gonna be here all night.
All right, he helps you move.
He helps you move.
Done many times, yeah.
Helps you move. I don't think that's a good indicator of like whether somebody is into you or not. Like I've helped plenty of people move before that like I haven't been romantically interested in.
That's good to know.
It's like an indicator on whether he's like
a decent person.
A douche, yeah.
The other thing though, I think the one problem with most of these questions, and we're only on question 2, but I can safely say most of these questions don't necessarily confirm like if he loves you. They at least confirm if he's trying to get laid. Like
I was gonna say that thus far
what into you is defined as
the questions that we have been read to me more like the indications of somebody who's trying to figure out whether her like friend, like her guy who is a friend is like romantically interested.
That could be, yeah.
Because it's like I can tell you for sure the barometer for like whether these things mean they're into you vastly shifts in one direction if you're not already dating this person.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, did you help me move before we were dating, Matt?
Did I help you move before we were dating?
Did you move before you were dating?
So.
I don't know.
Because we met like the beginning of a school year, and we started dating that summer.
Yeah, but remember,
did I help you move? Did I help you move buildings? I must have.
You had to have, yeah.
It also may have been like if he didn't help you move, it was probably because he was also moving at the same time, because everybody generally moves in at the same time.
Because I would have had to move into South for the summer. So you might have.
We both, because I was also moving into South for the summer.
Yeah.
I probably would have if there was like some shit that needed to be carried, but
yeah, I think you probably did.
Again, like I would have helped anybody that asked me.
Yeah,
because I'm not an asshole.
But did you help me more?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I have no recollection.
Number 4, he encourages couple selfies, which you have never done.
Okay,
but
so
I don't either.
So in this case, this is definitely like you are already dating this person.
True. Yes, this one is.
See, that's tough because most guys don't really take pictures of themselves in general.
I don't know if that's true either.
Like, I don't think this is a fair one because, like, I don't take selfies of myself. So why would I then take selfies with you?
This is again to me. This is again more telling of something else besides interest in relationship. This is telling of like the level of vanity possessed by this individual. Though I will say that of the selfies, quote unquote, that I have ever like taken of myself, it has been there are 2, and I can with like almost 100% certainty say that there are 2 reasons that I have taken like a selfie style picture. One has been if I am taking a picture of myself to see how much longer my hair and or beard have gotten since like the last time I took a picture, because I'm trying to like look at the progress over time. And 2 is if I'm taking a selfie picture with you because we are somewhere.
Yeah.
So like,
but you normally huff and puff about it if I do ask you.
No, I huff and puff when like
it takes 15 minutes.
When it takes 15 minutes, and I've never huffed and puffed about a selfie. I huff and puff about you going like, my mom wants to take us a picture of us in front of this thing, which is 99.9% because your mother doesn't know how to operate a camera.
No, she would like if we go to a wedding, like she wants to see what we look like.
Well, listen, I'm just saying, I have like on my phone the selfies that I have were either taken for the purposes of measuring a haircut, or they include both of us because we took them somewhere. So I guess by that barometer, we've still learned nothing. So Cosmos sucks.
I almost never take a selfie because A, I'm not taking pictures of myself, and B, if I'm with somebody else, my arms are short. So I'm usually not the one who takes the picture anyway.
So short arms. So this is an indicator not of whether he's into you, but number 1, how long his arms are.
Yeah. Okay, number 5. He never says anything about having too much time together, which is certainly something that you do not do.
He never says anything about having too much time together.
Yeah.
What?
As in, like, complaining that we see each other too much?
Like, or that, like, you never have too much time together, which is something that, like, I did not give us a check mark for this one.
I don't even understand the question.
Yeah, I'm very confused.
There's never too much time together. Like, he just loves to spend all of his time with you.
Oh, I'm beginning to get the clear frame of reference that the Cosmo's perfect man is like a huge tool.
Yeah.
Because
these all sounds like the attributes of a guy who's
this
a
is
real
not
douche.
A person who's a real person. This is like because
a real. Going to say that this reads as a person who's like a little bitch.
No, I don't know. I don't want to be. I don't want to be vulgar. Because we all know that Winnie doesn't like it when we're vulgar on the podcast.
Yeah. Oh, that's one thing I meant to say. I'm allowing one F-bomb in this entire episode.
Oh crap.
Well, fuck.
And Russell waiting for it.
I thought Matt was gonna say the exact same
I was
thing.
gonna say if and I will purposely not cut it out of the recording here because I do try to cut out like long pauses between sentences or whatever. The pause there for anyone listening was not like. It was the indecisive moment where Russell and I were deciding who was going to be the one to make that joke.
I was hoping that we would say it at the same time.
I'm shocked that you said "oh crap" first, Matt.
Sometimes I like to defy expectations. I lost my train of thought though. Oh, I think what I was saying was that in this case in point specifically, a sign of a healthy, well-rounded relationship is that both parties mutually enjoy each other's company and activities together, but also maintain like a healthy balance of like alone time and individual interests and like friendships.
You are all about that.
That I am very much a proponent of striking a healthy balance of together and separate interests, and not pursuing overly codependent relationships. Yes.
Human beings at their core need like alone time to be able to even recharge to deal with people, any people, even if they're the person you love most in the world. At some point, you need to not be around people.
I think, and this is not this is becoming a very not super joke heavy episode of the podcast. But I think that there are people who, based on Cosmo definition, like would be happy to spend every single waking moment in the presence of another person and do every single activity together. And I think that is an unhealthy approach to a relationship.
Yeah, I think both the person that Cosmo is describing as the man sounds like a real douche, and the expectation
the woman who
setting
would want
for
this,
the woman
who
is
would
also
want this
like
is
too much.
This is setting an unhealthy expectation for the woman.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, number 6.
Okay.
Which this one's kind of sad.
This one's sad. Okay.
He puts at least a little care into what you do together.
What is that supposed to mean?
I understand that. I get that. That's important. It's like,
but like to word it like he puts at least a little care.
Well, I think it's because
the
typical like guy idea of a date is either like, yeah, we'll just like go to a restaurant or like go to this movie or like you can just come over and we'll watch crap on the couch. Like,
yeah.
Minimal effort is like, oh, I found this restaurant that's right near this really nice place that we could walk to. Not just like, I don't know, I need to go get socks. You want to go get socks?
Did I get a point for this one?
Yeah, because you put at least a little care into what we do together.
Okay, dodged a bullet on that one. I was nervous. Yeah, I mean, I think that one gets. Yes, I think that one is probably a sign.
Reading it wrong? I don't know.
I think Russell's reading it is fine, and I would agree. I think that is a sign that he's into you.
He puts a little care into it. You know, like last night, I had a long day at work, and Matt got food for me. Like he got takeout that he knew I would like. So that was a good thought.
Well, I think we can all agree I'm a hero to all men everywhere, and move on to the next point.
Number 7, he calls what you do dating and not hanging out.
I I think if he...
You guys were like stumped by this one?
No, it's I think it's more of like a in
like
reference.
Hanging out's really casual. Like hanging out to me seems like
again, this is not something that I see as an indicator of whether he is into you, but more of an indicator of whether he is a piece of shit.
Yeah, I think
hanging out is like hooking up almost. Like
hanging out,
dating. It's more than that. Like
you can
definitely
be, as a dude, you could be into somebody who you are like will only refer to it as like hanging out with. Doesn't mean you're not into the person. It does mean you're a non-committal piece of crap.
Yeah. I think it's more in the terms of who he's talking to. Like if he refers to you to other people as like the girl I'm hanging out with, not like the girl I'm dating, that's like the red flag.
Okay.
But at the same time, if he refuses to like ever admit to even to like the girl that like you're dating, that's another problem.
Yeah, for sure. I think there's a period of time where hanging out is acceptable, but then
I have never in my life, not let alone our relationship, in any relationship I've ever had in my life, I have never used the term hanging out.
No, I don't.
It's always been like decidedly not dating and then dating.
Yeah,
it's always like that weird, like we're talking, we're going out on dates. We don't put any labels on it. And then there's like at one point the conversation of like, are we like officially a thing? Like, do I go change my Facebook status? Is this like a thing? Everybody has that conversation at some point. And if you've had that conversation and he either like is like, I don't know, we're just hanging out, or if he says like, yeah, and then refuses to admit it, then he's a tool bag.
All right, number 8, he's not afraid to double text.
To what?
Afraid to
double text. So I think like if you
I think she said not afraid to. I think she said not afraid to double tap, and I was like, "That's
like
pretty."
Gen Z.
What is that?
Snapchat culture, Tinder garbage. It's the idea that if you like text somebody twice in a row, like without them responding to you between, you're like a desperate sad sack. That's what the double text is. And again, this is not an indication of whether somebody is into you or not, but it is an indication of whether they are like an immature person who like
he's like
is
a confident
too wrapped
guy.
up in the head games.
Care how much time it takes for you to respond.
But it said he's not afraid to double text.
Well, yeah, that, but also like an insecure,
be a confident person.
An insecure person would like text you, and then like if you didn't respond, would be like, well, I guess that's the end of the relationship. Where like some, you know.
See, for me, I double text or like all the time because like my text is just like stream of consciousness thing. So I'll like say something, and then like I'll send another text. And I was like, this is the part 2 that wasn't thought for the first one.
For me, like because I know how I am, I always assume that like I should give anybody the benefit of the doubt that they are as like crappy at communication via text as I am. Where like if somebody texts me, there's like an 80% chance that I look at that text, I like see it, I mentally like make note of it and respond to it, and then like put down and don't respond and like forget that I didn't respond. So it's like it has nothing to do with the fact that I'm like trying to ghost somebody or whatever. It's like just because I'm like a garbage person. So like my assumption is if somebody doesn't respond to me, like I'll give them a day or whatever, and then I'll just like text again. If I actually need a response or whatever, I'll send something again, be like, hey, because my assumption is not that like they're like ignoring me or whatever. It's just that like they, you know, like we're busy or whatever, and I'm not gonna be like offended. So I don't think this is a sign of whether somebody's into you or not. I think it's a sign of whether they're like a person.
Yeah, the only time I'll get annoyed with somebody who like doesn't text back fairly frequently is it's like somebody who I know is like on their phone all the time, and it's like I know like you're on your phone doing stuff. Like I'll have friends where like I'll send a text or something, and then like I won't get a response, but then I'll see like them tweet something and then like say something in like the group message on Facebook, and I'm like, okay, so you're on your phone. You're actively using your phone. You just haven't replied to my text. That's when I'm like, you could respond to this text.
Yeah.
All right, let's rip through this back 8 real quickly here because we are
number
9 into the podcast.
He's down to sleep over at your place, which I don't think that's a sign that he's into you because he's probably looking for something else.
Yeah,
I think it is a sign that he's into you. I think it just doesn't clarify in what way.
Right. Well, I'm gonna say that this is in like the sense of a relationship.
Oh, then yeah, that is a meaningless indicator.
Yeah. All right. Number 10. He wants to run errands with you.
Sure. I'll give him that one.
Yeah.
I'll give him that one.
Okay. Number 11, he's okay leaving a toothbrush at your place, which we kind of touched on, but we didn't really talk about.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll give him that one as well. Again, I think that is like
it's very situational.
It's more like, are they?
But it's like if he's staying over a lot, then like, yeah, he should have a toothbrush because that's just gross at that point. But like if he's not somebody who's like staying over at your place that much, I don't think necessarily you need a toothbrush there.
Okay.
I do. No, I can see that it would be an indicator of somebody who like has intentions of this being like. I guess it gives it a sense of permanence, so I'll give him that one.
I think so too.
Yeah, I'm saying that's an acceptable thing, but also like if he doesn't do that, that's not necessarily like the worst thing.
Okay. 12. He actually says, "I miss you."
Actually says, "I miss you." Okay. I'm gonna make the statement that I think you did not give me a check mark for this one.
No, I did.
Oh, you did. Okay.
Because I'm sure at some point in the last 9 years. A little over 9 years, you have said that you miss me.
To me, to me, this is very like this very much comes down to like the type of person that you're dealing with, because like I know for a fact that like I am not the type of person who is like
going to say willingly that I
like
miss you.
No. Like that you talk about like people have different love languages and people like show their affection and stuff like that in different ways, and like for some people. The like I think this one would fall under like words of affirmation. Like that's just not how some people express their like their love or their like interest.
Yeah.
You know, like because I know that that's not that's not how I am. You know, I am much more a person who expresses my love and my affection via I think the classification is like acts of service. Where it's like you do things, you like try to do nice things for the person, you try to show somebody like you care for them that way. And, like, that's how you express it.
Some kind of food that you know I will enjoy.
Yeah, like
after
getting them takeout that they're gonna like. So to me, this is like I would give it to them, except I think.
You have to consider that there's other
like,
ways too.
Right. This is not the be all end all. Like if they don't say this, I don't think that means they're not into you. I think it means they might just be a person who like that's not how they express like they just might not be like a verbal expresser of their like emotional whatever.
It also like depends on the circumstance of like how often you see each other, and like if you live together, like nobody like some people don't get time to miss people because there's never enough gap where the other person is not around.
Yeah. Okay. Number 13, he wants you to meet his friends.
I'll give him that one.
Yeah.
I'll give him that. If he's like will not let you meet anybody that he knows, that's a real sketch situation.
Yeah, it's it doesn't want anybody to know that like you're seeing that or like his friends are pieces of shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say it could be that his friends are garbage.
Which should be which like would be then an indicator that like if he's friends with a bunch of crap people, he himself is a crap person.
I mean,
so he's either embarrassed by you or he's embarrassed by them.
Yeah, and neither one of those is good.
Right.
Unless he's like a reformed scumbag and he's like, yes, these are my friends, but it's like it was a younger time in my life. I'm like trying to be different now. So I mean, yeah, there could be extenuating circumstances, but I think
I also feel like the
rule of thumb that's a bad sign.
Another thing is if it's not on this list, it's like if he doesn't want to meet your friends, that's another problem.
Yeah, it's not on the list, but I agree with you. Yeah,
I feel like that should be an addendum to that.
Yeah,
that number.
All right. So number 14, he does subtle PDA. I don't know why like subtle needed to be a disclaimer, but that's number 14.
I think probably because like overly overt PDA, at least in my opinion, is like
controlling
it. Well, I was gonna yes maybe, but I was gonna say is more like performance art than like an actual sincere expression of like caring for somebody.
Yeah.
So that
I'm very much of the mindset of PDA where I'm like, I know what it's like if like I'm out with a group of friends and then like two of my friends like start making out and I'm like, I know that like that's uncomfortable for me. So like when I'm in a relationship, I'm like, I'm not gonna make anybody else have to sit there and deal with it either.
It is like overt PDA is to me an expression of insecurity and like a performance. You are putting on a show because you're not secure in your own like relationship. So I will give them that. I'll give them that.
Do you think that it's a sign of that he's into you if he does subtle PDA?
Yeah, I think like yeah, I would say
that's
so.
Like holding hands,
or like like I guess I guess some of the things I was gonna list I guess are not PDA.
What are you gonna list?
Well, I was gonna say like puts a little note in your lunchbox or like just a little little subtle stuff like that, but that's not PDA, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, holding hands or like kind of the like
puts his arm around you.
Or like just the sort of a brief like touch on the arm or something like that. Just like general like small acts of contact, I think is a sign of like somebody being attracted to somebody else or like into somebody else and not being like a gross child about it.
And I think the title of this article should definitely be like more like not like he's into you than like he's like legitimately interested in you and not like just like trying to hook up.
Every one of these so far has been to me more an indicator of like is your man like an emotionally mature person like capable of having an actual relationship, or are you dating like a boy essentially?
Yeah, that was number 2.
That one have to get bleeped.
That one's gonna get beeped. You didn't even realize it.
I'll beep that one. Well, it's a I don't know what to tell you. That is the term for the thing.
Yeah, it is.
Spelled BOI.
That was a term until Love Island.
Oh, well, there you go. Now you know.
All right, number 15. See,
and now your mom knows.
Another point for Love Island gets a pigeon point.
Oh shit. Okay.
Number 15. He doesn't look at his phone when you're together.
That's dumb.
That's not.
Everybody looks at their phone.
Everybody looks at their phone all the time. That's stupid.
90% of relationships are two people sitting next to each other on their phone.
That is not okay.
Nobody got that. 90% of the people who read that article were in a room with their significant other while on their phone looking at that article. We live in a world of cell phones and technology. That is no longer an indication of anything.
If they can't put their phone away,
if you're on you're all dressed up, you're out on a date, you're whatever, like, and they're like watching football on their phone in their lap while at dinner, like that's one thing. But like if you're hanging out or you're doing whatever and they're like idly looking at their phone, that's nonsense. That's the world we live in nowadays, and that is the idea that like somebody being like connected to their phone is something to be super focused on and like treated extremely negatively is antiquated as far as I'm concerned.
Okay. And last but not least, he wants to show you things he really likes, which this you do somewhat to an excessive extent sometimes, but you sure got this point.
Yeah, that one definitely, I'll give him that one. Like if they are like trying to share their interests and bring you into like the world of their interests, it's because they like you and they want you to like be a part of those things.
Okay. All right. So I can sleep at night knowing that you have 6 of the 6 qualities that you said.
How many of the ones that six of the 6 qualities I said were legit I have. How many of the ones that you didn't? So how many of the ones that you didn't give me credit for did I like out of hand dismiss as bullshit?
The Bachelor, I didn't give you the Bachelor one. I didn't give you he never says anything about having too much time together. I didn't give you he doesn't look at his phone when you're together.
Okay.
And he encourages couple selfies.
Okay.
So you just missed those, and I think you did make a point that would make me want to give you the Bachelor one, because yes, I think the Bachelor's too specific because you are tolerant of Love Island to a certain extent. But like you will watch things I want to watch. You'll complain about it sometimes, but you will.
Well, you have bad taste in television, I don't know what to tell you.
Alrighty,
well there we go.
Educational, apparently.
So, in summation, Cosmo still is dumb. And I think they are legitimately like I feel like that list legitimately does a disservice to somebody who reads that and takes it overly seriously without being analytical of it.
I bring these articles up, but not in like a serious way because these are ridiculous.
All right, so in summation, eat shit, Cosmo.
All right, so I have a thing that kind of goes along with this whole thing. If we want to do that,
what do you possibly have that goes on with a Cosmo article about whether your man is into you?
Discussion. It's an Am I the Asshole?
Okay, go ahead.
This one you may have seen. This was on. This was all over Twitter for a while.
Well, I'm not on Twitter, so I probably didn't see it.
Okay, so the title of it is Am I the Asshole for telling my girlfriend to get her own copy of Animal Crossing?
Okay.
No, I don't
think context
so.
to this?
Oh boy, yeah.
I need
just
context.
Buckle up.
Buckle up. Okay.
So around a month ago, I, 31 male, pre-ordered the new Animal Crossing game that comes out next week. I've been a huge fan of Animal Crossing since the original 2001 GameCube version, and to say I'm excited would be an understatement. My girlfriend, 23, female, lives with me, and she has never been a gamer. I've tried to play games with her, but she just isn't good. She has no concept of defense in Rocket League. She can't hold a candle to me in Smash. And the only time she ever wins Mario Party is if she gets the bullshit bonus stars you get. Also, that's the only way anybody wins Mario Party.
Yeah, I think we can all agree that Mario Party is stupid.
You get the point. Gaming just isn't her thing, which is fine. I still love her, and it's never been an issue. The other day, she apparently stumbled upon a YouTube video of a new Animal Crossing game and started telling me how excited she was to play. I asked her if she was going to purchase another copy and another Switch, and she was stunned. She asked me why she would need to get her own copy when I already ordered one, and I explained to her that it isn't the type of game you share. She got all upset and told me that she thought it would be cute to live in the same village and be neighbors, and I told her that simply wasn't the case. There's only one town per game, and I don't want somebody who has zero concept of how the game should actually be played making decisions that negatively affect the town. I don't want her stealing exotic fruit from my orchard that I plan to sell. I don't want her buying furniture from Tom Nook's that I might want to adorn my living room with. And I certainly don't want her placing her house next to mine because she thinks it's cute, thus spoiling what I planned to develop into a lavish estate. She told me that it was just a game that she thought we could bond over it, but we never been able to bond over games, so why start now? Of course, she doesn't get that it's a game in which grinding and playing is key. I can be prevented from carrying out my vision simply because she wants to run around with her dumbass pink-haired character, catching butterflies or making a constellation out of our initials, which I know she would do. Wow, she sounds like a real bitch making it.
Is he done? This is the end?
This is the one last bit. I told her it was nothing personal, but I still love her, but she started crying and told me she doesn't want to play the stupid game anyway. I kind of feel bad, but I also feel like it's unreasonable for her to assume she can just insert herself into one of my passions without considering how disruptive doing so actually is. I make more than her, so I even offered to buy her own console and game. She said that wasn't the point, and now I'm lost. Am I the asshole?
I have never started out so much on somebody's side and over the course of like 3 paragraphs gotten so against them.
Yep. Because at its core...
Yeah, at its base, he's absolutely right. Like, Animal Crossing is the type of... And like, Emily can attest to this, like... We had a very similar situation that Emily is not into games. She is not into games. She has never gotten into any game that I have tried to get her to play with me.
I just end up like in a corner stuck.
She does not.
That's why I thought this was perfect to bring up to you because I knew you two had a similar.
And the exact situation happened where this game came out, and I decided I wanted to try it, never having played Animal Crossing. So I'm not like a uber fan like this guy. But, like, I had a pretty solid suspicion that this would be the type of thing that she would be able to get into and get behind. And I wanted it to be a thing that we could enjoy together. But, like, the innate nature of Animal Crossing is, like, it is not designed to be a game you play, like, tandem co-op.
Yeah.
So like I bought her a Switch and a second copy of the game expressly for this purpose. So like from that perspective, like this person absolutely is right that like that's not really the way that this game is like intended to be interacted with.
The game is not meant for like two people to play one person.
Now granted, there is, from what I understand, there is a way that you can have multiple inhabitants on one island, which is intended to be if you have like a family situation where you all share one Switch. However, like sort of the point of Animal Crossing is that like it is a very like self-expressive game where you like set things up the way you want, you kind of do your chores. You know,
I even told you I wouldn't want to stay on your island. Like I want my own.
Yeah. So like this dude is not wrong for like the way. If this was me, in this situation, when this came up that she said she wanted to play it or whatever, and like when he got to the point where he went like, "Oh, are you gonna get a Switch in Animal Crossing?" and she got like confused and defensive, I would have like I would have stopped the conversation right there. Like we would have spoken no more about it. I would have ended the conversation before it came a fight. I would have then gone and bought her a Switch and a copy of the game without telling her and given it to her as a present, like when the game came out, and then like started playing it together. And this dude could have avoided the entire fight.
Yeah,
because she could have gotten exactly what she wanted, which was like, because that's what Emily and I do. We like go to each other's island and we run around, and I hit her in the head with the bug net while she's trying to fish, and we sell fruits at each other's islands and all that stuff. Like it is a thing that we do together as like an activity that we can both enjoy and like have our separate things, which is what I think this dude's girlfriend wanted.
But he essentially, first of all, he was like, I've tried to get her into games. She
sucks. Real hard though.
She sucks. Yeah. And then he was also like, he didn't say like, oh, you can get your own Switch and then play together, or like, first of all, when he said I offered to get her own Switch, he didn't like a chode where he's like, I make more money than her.
For you.
I make more. I literally goes, I make more money than her. I'll buy it for her.
Right.
Which is him trying to white knight his way out of the situation while being a douche. But also then he was like, I don't want you coming to my island and touching anything with your bullshit. Stuff. Like, it doesn't sound like he likes her at all. The fact that he got oddly specific, like he said, with her dumb pink hair, which I'm like, does she have pink hair in real life that he hates? Like,
it definitely, like, in principle, I agree with his concept that, like, he should not be forced to let his girlfriend share his Animal Crossing account and have to deal with like not being able to kind of like do the things that he wants to do with his island, because that is such a big part of the game. But like I feel like as punishment for being a huge neck-bearded dumpster,
he was a real dick about it.
He was a real dick about it. So I think as punishment,
and as he kept talking, he just like dug it the hole deeper.
I was like, I've never switched so hard on somebody over the course of like 4 paragraphs worth.
That's why I said buckle up.
Yeah, because he's not an ass about the whole like, should she get her own account? Yeah, she should get her own account. But the fact that then you were like a pompous ass to her about it, like, I wouldn't want to play.
Yeah, it wasn't like she should get her own account
like that. Yeah, I would have been like, well, screw you.
It wasn't like she should get her own account because like that's how you interact with this type of game, and like we will be able to play like we would. So I mean, the other thing that he had a real easy opening here where like it sounded like she was like, oh, I want to share an island and like be able to like do this together, and like he could have very easily explained to her like, oh, the game doesn't work like that, like we wouldn't be able to play together because you can we'd have to play in like turns, where if you get your own, we can actually play this thing together and do cutesy Animal Crossing dates or whatever.
For him.
It was also, a missed opportunity, but
I like
also
that he talks like down
douche so.
On her doing like cutesy bullshit, which is what the game is.
I know, right?
The game description is cutesy BS. So he's like, how dare she want to do cute things in this cartoon game with talking animals for children?
Right.
Oh, goodness. Oddly enough, the thing that I brought to the table today is very similar to both of these. If we want to, I think we've litigated this one to its fullest extent. If we want to play this new game that I've brought, for a couple of rounds before we, Well, you're the host. I don't get to make any. I get to make no decisions here.
You're exactly right. And with that, I think that's all.
Okay. Well, then I guess I get the opportunity to tease my segment. For
No,
next week.
we can go for it.
Oh,
I will allow it. I was joking.
I was
just trying to use my power.
Okay. So this game is called Let's Settle This.
Okay.
It is basically I have found a website which proposes situations, then gives you two options to side with one of the two parties involved, and then when you do, it tells you what percentage of other people sided on the same side as you did versus.
It's kind of like when you play a Telltale game. At the end of each chapter, it tells you.
Similar to that. Okay, so here's the first one that I pulled up. So I have no control over what comes up here. It's just whatever this thing feeds me. So the first one that came up is this. My husband isn't working because of the pandemic, but I'm working from home 9 to 10 hours each day, and am thus supporting the household financially, including our health insurance. My husband regularly leaves the house to golf, go to Home Depot, and grocery shop. When he returns home, I have to constantly remind him to wash his hands. Yesterday, when he came home, I asked him to wash his hands. He went into the kitchen, but instead of washing his hands, opened my container of wings and began eating them. This was immediately following me asking him to wash his hands. I was very upset. He apologized, but then said that I just wanted to be mad. Let's settle this. Do we side with the wife? I feel that he is risking my health and thus the well-being of our family. Instead of accusing me of wanting to be mad, he should be more careful without constant nagging from me. Or do we side with the husband? I said I was sorry. I only touched the wing that I was eating. Besides, I didn't touch anything while I was out golfing.
Is there a third option that just says divorce?
There is not. There is an option for skip. I do wish I had screened this one beforehand because it does seem pretty obvious what the correct answer is here.
Yeah, he's a tool.
Right?
Like, yeah, 100%.
Like
fairly
even not like taking her side of the story out of it completely, like not even exclude all the working from it, whatever, like just any person who's doing any of the things he's doing at all, you're a schmuck.
I mean, somewhat. I mean, it does say he goes grocery shopping, so okay. It seems like she's doing the at-home stuff. He's doing the
Yeah, but then he's going golfing.
He's working, and he's going golfing.
And he's not washing his hands or doing anything. He's probably the type of dude that doesn't wear a mask in a store.
Right? Why are you going golfing in a pandemic?
That I don't know.
When your wife is at home supporting your household.
Okay.
Because golfing's not cheap, number one, and number two, you're out in a pandemic.
Okay, so here's what I did not realize is that this gives you so number one, we chose the wife. 84% of people chose the wife. Mm-hmm. There is apparently a follow-up from the husband and the wife here that based on what you picked. So it says the situation: a safe vaccine does not exist for COVID-19. A vaccine could be rushed to us early, cutting a few corners to get the. Oh wait.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Oh, this is just a new situation. I thought this was this is just a new situation. Okay, I misunderstood what was happening here. So this is next. This is a new situation. There is no.
Going to be pandemic related.
I don't know. The situation: a safe vaccine does not exist for COVID-19. A vaccine could be rushed to us early, cutting a few corners to get it here. Some argue it should be mandatory. So, in this scenario, the two options are the wife, whose point is some people won't take it otherwise, or the husband, who says, do you understand what you are supporting? You're advocating for holding down grown adults and injecting them against their will. No. I guess this is whether So really, this doesn't address the, rushing the vaccine out and cutting corners. This is really just about should a vaccine be made mandatory when it is
Here's the thing. This is my thoughts. Everybody should get the vaccine, but if you're dumb enough not to, then that's on you, and you're not really endangering other people at that point because everybody else who's not a dumbass will have gotten the vaccine.
But then you get into conversations. It's the same thing with these anti-vax idiot parents.
Right.
Where if enough people take that take that standpoint, you don't gain the effectiveness of herd immunity from having enough people immunized.
That's true. They would never do it. It would never actually happen.
It will never be
They can't require it. Like,
they absolutely
you can't do it. The other thing too is if you have a new vaccine, like, I don't want to be the guinea pig on a new vaccine till I know it's safe.
Yeah, that was the first thing.
My problem is sort of like a person who would say, "Do you understand what you're supporting? You're advocating for grown adults and injecting them against their will."
Yeah, I don't like that guy.
That's not the argument. A person who would
a person who responds like that is a person that I would support holding down and injecting with a vaccine against their will.
Yeah.
I guess. So it is. It's
I don't
like
want to side with either of these.
I like kind of agree with the husband, but I don't want to side with him because like he 100% did that thing that only like Trump and his people do.
Yeah.
Where they like complete
it's
a
like
thought,
a
complete a thought, end it with an exclamation point, and then just like, add on a one word like modifier at the end. Yeah. The thing that Trump does, he says like, "They did this sad," or "They did this." Dumb, or like whatever. Like you can tell so much about a person when they do that one word modifier after their complete thought. Like they think the reader is like too much of an idiot to understand the concept of what they just read without being told what to think. So like I don't like husband in this scenario.
Let's move on to another. Let's see if we can get one that's
not
pandemic
related. We gotta pick one. Wife or husband. Won't take it otherwise, or
I guess
vaccine
wife.
People against their will.
I guess wife, because I really I don't like the husband's argument.
Yeah, right. He's a tool.
Then we will vote for wife. I would have sided with husband, despite my moral obligation to him being a turd. I do agree with his like sentiment that you can't make you can't make it mandatory. 70% chose the husband.
Okay.
So they were voted again. You guys.
Yes, yeah, that was the thing is I wasn't really for either of them.
The situation. Okay, all right. This is a better one. If you magically lost your legs, you don't have to worry about recovery time. Could you still bench press the same amount of weight as when you had your legs? The wife says you use all your muscles to bench press, and without your legs, your max weight would go down 10% or more. The husband says if I were properly strapped to the bench, I could throw up the same weight. Do you side with the husband or the wife? If you lost your legs, would your bench press suffer?
Your bench press would suffer. Because you don't get the leverage that you need from your legs. But I don't know if strapping them would be an acceptable alternative.
I don't know that you would. I don't think you'd be able to bench press the same weight immediately, but I think you could eventually get back up to your with leg weight.
I'll tell you that this is heavily, as a person who does lift weights fairly regularly.
Same.
This is this is heavily dependent on what kind of shape this person's in beforehand, because I can tell you with full confidence that if this is a person who's benching 90 pounds, if they lost their legs, I fully think they could still bench 90 pounds no problem without dropping down in weight, because that's sort of a weight where you can kind of muscle it out. If you're benching 220, I don't think you would be able to bench the same weight
I'm gonna say
properly,
no.
because you can't leverage your lower body and your back into a safe proper position if you just don't have any more legs. So you'd be at a much greater risk for hurting yourself. So I am gonna side with the wife personally.
Yeah. In the immediate circumstance, I think that your bench press will suffer.
Okay. 50-50.
Really?
Completely split.
All
right. Let's make this the last one. We'll do one more. Okay. And I think that's the last we should do. So
make it a good one.
We'll make it a good one. The situation is, I have a stress test in the morning, lasting 30 to 60 minutes. I'm 45, and I want to see if my heart is healthy enough to jog. I want to take a sick day. I'm anxious about the test, but I also have heard that they run you pretty hard, literally. And I might need time after the stress test to recover from the test and at least take a shower and change. I get 6 paid sick days per calendar year, and I haven't taken one yet in 2020. I have never been disciplined for attendance in the 12 years I have worked in my current job. My wife says that I'm lazy for not going back to work. So, the two options are, you side with the wife, it takes an hour, and if you take the day off, you have bad work ethic. Or husband, I'm not lazy because I want to use one sick day.
100% the husband.
Yeah, take the sick day. Stress
I
test.
don't think
rough.
that's
she sounds mean.
That is, number one, she's mean. Number two, that is like textbook brainwashed concept of like work ethic in America. Of like, if you take a sick day, you have bad work ethic. If you don't like kill yourself for your job, you have bad work ethic. Like, that's bullshit. Like, take the day off, you have the sick day. Like, even if this dude like didn't have this stress test, like I wouldn't have even batted an eye if he was like, everything else was the same, take the stress test out of this, and he's like, I've never been disciplined for attendance in 12 years. I have 6 paid sick days, and I haven't used any. Like, I want to take a day off. Like, even in that scenario, I'd side with him. Like, yeah, like, take your day. Like, take your days. Do what is healthy for you. You know, and he like definitely says he's like he's nervous about it. Yeah. So I'm 100% with the husband on this one. I think that's pretty safe. Yeah, 86% chose the husband. So that's I wonder a pretty solid one.
Who are the 14 people that signed, or 14% of people that sided with the wife? Like, you're mean. Who are you?
I don't know.
All right.
Alrighty. Well,
I guess we will wrap it up.
Okay.
So I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast, and maybe you'll hear my beautiful voice hosting sometime soon. We'll see. Toodles.